And this question, where we're told that we have to compare two scenarios: one in which you don't go to school, and in one which you decide to go to professional school. And we're given your salaries per year, and you need to decide what is the maximum tuition you'd be willing to pay to attend the professional school. So in this question, essentially, you want to do it in a sort of a tabular form. Let's do it. So we have case one: you don't go to school, right? That's one scenario. You don't go to professional school. And we have case two, which is you go to school. And now we're given a couple of information. Firstly, we're told the salary per year. Now, if you don't go to school, let's write it down. Your salary per year is 40,000. Your salary remained constant. How you could have you could have also been admitted to professional school. The school can be completed in 2 years. Upon graduation, you expect your starting salary to be 10% higher and remain constant, right? So if your salary per year, if you don't go to school, is 40,000, your salary per year, if you go to school, is 10% higher at this, is 10% higher than this, and then it will remain constant. So it's 1 plus 10%. So then this just turns out to be $44,000. Right? The salary per year in this case is 40,000. In this case, it's 10% higher and then remains constant. Let's see what your after tax salary per year is. After tax salary per year. So your after tax salary per year, the tax rate is 40%, right? The tax rate on labor income is 40%, right? So after tax salary per year is going to be 1 minus 40% into 40,000. It's just going to be $24,000, right? This is your after tax salary per year. And here also, the tax rate is just 40%, so it's 1 minus 40% into 44,000 is equal to 26,400. So now what we can do is we want to find the maximum tuition you're willing to pay. So we'll find it as a difference between your human wealth if you decide to go to school minus the human wealth you decide to not go to school. So let's find your human wealth, which is just expected present discounted value of lifetime after tax labor income, right? So this is your human wealth, expected present discounted value of lifetime after tax labor income. Now here, the important thing to note over here is we're given that the real interest rate is 0. Now, why is this relevant? Right? Note you're given that R is 0%. So when you have 0 interest rates, expected present discounted value can just be found as the sum of those expected cash flows. So because R is 0%, expected present discounted value is simply sum of expected labor income. If that's not the case, if you don't have 0 interest rates, then you do need to discount cash flows, right? Right, because otherwise work for 38 years, right? Because see, otherwise next year's salary will have to be discounted by R. The year after that would have been discounted by 1 plus, it would have also been discounted by your interest rates and so on, right? So in this case, this is a special case of 0 interest rates, where when you have 0 interest rates, expected present discounted value is just the sum of expected cash flows, because now R is 0, so there's no discounting that is being done, right? So special case. That's why in this case, I can find expected present discounted value of lifetime after tax labor income as 24,000 into 38. Why am I multiplying it with 38? Because it's the number of years of work, right? Because what we're saying is, because we have 0 interest rates, you can find expected present discounted value as sum of your expected labor incomes, right? Because there's no discounting, interest rates are 0. So in the first year, you're also earning 24,000. In the next year, also 24,000. So you're adding 24 plus 24 plus 24. You're adding it 38 times, because 38 is the number of years of work. So when you're adding 24,000 38 times, in short, you can write it as 24,000 into 38. And if you decide to go to school, then it's going to be 26,400 into 36, because you have 2 years of professional school, right? That's why. So this turns out to be, if we calculate this turns out to be 24,000 into 38 as 91,200, and this turns out to 26,400 into 36 as 950,400. Right now, the maximum tuition you'd be willing to pay is just going to be the difference. So maximum tuition you're willing to pay is just going to be extra income is going to be equal to the extra income from going to school, right? The maximum tuition you're willing to pay is any extra income that you can earn from going to school. That's the maximum you'd be willing to pay, which is equal to the extra income you'll get from going to school. So it's the human wealth of going from school minus the human wealth of work, right? So human wealth of going to school, like we found this human wealth is expected present discounted value of lifetime after tax labor income, right? So human wealth, this is 950,400 minus 912,123 is just 38,400. So basically, if tuition for school, you won't go to school, right? If tuition for school is more than the extra income that you can get from going to school, which is 30,400, don't go to school, right? So you won't go to school if your tuition is more than the extra income that you can get from going to school. So under the scenario, to find the maximum tuition you're willing to pay, you just compare your human wealth under both scenarios. And in this case, because you had zero interest rates, you could find your human wealth, i.e. expected present discounted value of lifetime after tax labor income, by just summing up expected labor income. Again, the only reason we could find expected present discounted value as summing up simply expected labor income is because we have zero interest rates. Otherwise, we do have to discount using the interest rate when you're adding cash flows at different points in time.